What is it really to not only see things more clearly, um, see them with perhaps greater openness, see them in ways where that sense of concretization is more relaxed or more fluid. But what is it to be in harmony with what is in a way where there's less of our sense of self that is of a given stance internally, that is identified as, let's say, ego or sense of separate self. These two really go hand in hand. To be able to see and know things as they are, we simultaneously enter into an experience where the self that we take ourselves to be as a separate someone is not. So another way of putting that equation is the less of a sense of concretized separate self that's vehemently identified with, the more that softens, the more we can put that down, even for just this time as you're listening, or as you sit in meditation, for example, or you sit and go for a walk in nature. That's a good one. That's a paradox there for sure. But as you just go about an activity where there's very little sense of self, you can get a feeling immediately of entering into the moment more fully, of perhaps becoming absorbed in a task or an activity, or becoming more conscious, let's say during that walk in nature, of being part of a larger expression of nature and encountering nature with a more relaxed vision, a more softer sense of self, perhaps. Because it depends kind of how you experience yourself in nature and what your intention is. Some people might go out for a walk just to really ruminate in their mind, and then their focus would not be so much at one with their surroundings. But if our intention is to explore who it is that we are essentially, that cannot be boxed in by our beliefs about ourselves or others' beliefs about us, that cannot be boxed in by our ideas about ourselves or even the world or the moment. If we can take that journey to discover what it is as we step out of more boxes and return to an even more essential expression of what we are, then we can get more of a feeling of less of that concretized self that might impede the flow of life. And the more we open and are available to life as it is and how it's expressing, free of that vehement opposition. Now, you may be listening thinking, well, I don't have vehement opposition to my life, for example. And that may be true, and that's fantastic. But there also, if you look really closely, I know I can look at my life too, where there's places where I'll continually become conscious of new areas, new situations where I'll see, oh, I could relax a little bit more around that. Or I could be open to not knowing in this situation and just kind of seeing what arises. Or I could listen more deeply and just receive what's happening or what people are saying, and just give that space to be allowed, to support that notion of aligning with what is by allowing what's occurring to reveal itself more fully before I take a stance with it. And so there's all these situations where we can practice having a little less of our notion of self in the operation, a little less of me, a little less of me, a little less of me.